Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, James Protin. Every week I will be sharing the experiences that have defined my journey and talking with people who have their own powerful story to tell. It's about doing better and being better in life, business, and all things in between. The visually inclined can catch us on YouTube, or you can check us out on just about every podcast platform. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. We are back at Chico Bocello in Canonsburg, our home away from home. And we have a very special guest for you this morning, my man, Will Toprani. Big Will. Will, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I've been, the Toprani name is probably familiar to our audience because both Will's parents have been on the show before. And we've been trying to get Will into the chair, but he's just like, you never sit still, dude.
Always busy. Never get time.
Is there any sport you don't play anymore?
Just football right now, but there's a lot of them.
Did you play hoops in your freshman year?
Yeah, when I was at Ringgold in the winter and fall, I played basketball there.
Did you?
For Ringgold, and then when I moved to Central, I don't think I'm going to play it. I think I'm just doing baseball and football. Good.
So let's go back to Ringgold for a second. So you just finished up your freshman year.
Sir.
So you go and you've been playing sports your entire life, but when you get to Ringgold, you're a freshman. So all of a sudden, you're a starting quarterback on a team that, let's be honest, wasn't a great team, and you're an inexperienced guy at that level. And how was that?
It was challenging, definitely coming from playing middle school football there and starting quarterback there. And then once usually kids go to the JV level and see some size there, and then just going to that varsity level, especially like a conference like 4A, like the Ringgold's in, it was a challenge, You
played some pretty tough teams.
Yeah, teams like McKeesport, Thomas Jefferson, Trinity, TJ, like all schools like that, it was a challenge, but I feel like I adapted pretty well to it, getting used to it. And now that I'm at Central, I feel like it's going to prepare me more and more.
Oh, absolutely. The thing of it is, when you talk about those teams that you just mentioned, Bell Vernon won a state championship and struggled with those teams. And they had, they were loaded for bear. They had everybody back from the previous state championship season. Mm-hmm. So when you guys came up and you're looking at a TJ, they got this legendary coach, Turpak, and all these things. And TJ just always reloads. Have athletes everywhere, And how is that, did that add to the normal pressure of being a high school freshman?
Once you hear, the competition you're going against and, once you hear those teams that you're going against, it adds a little more pressure because you know what they're going to do and you know what they're made of. But we just try to adapt to it as a team. And, the outcome of the game wasn't the best, but it was a challenge for sure. You're just trying to get used to it, but...
Well, all things considered, you had a decent year for a freshman starting quarterback to begin with, right? Let alone the adversity you faced. What do you think are some of the challenges that high school athletes are facing today that adults really wouldn't relate to?
I feel like maintaining good grades is a big factor in it, going from school to practice and then having to go home and do homework and stuff. And
did that experience impact your academics, your schoolwork?
A little bit, yeah. It's a challenge. I had homework every night. I'd have to go to practice, go home, do homework. It's a challenge, but I was able to maintain it pretty well and got all my academics right and kept it balanced, kind of.
So you're a three-sport athlete, at Ringgold, and mid-year you transfer to Central Catholic. Okay, now two things jumped out to me right now. Number one, transferring mid-year your freshman year of high school.
It's crazy.
That's punch in the gut.
Yeah,
how was that?
It was a challenge. A lot of kids weren't on my side, but it was something I had to do to better my future. Mm-hmm. It was a better opportunity for me, so I feel like I love the opportunity where I'm at now. So,
well, you're in a great place. You really are. Did you know any kids there before you went there?
No, I didn't. I went into the school not knowing anyone, didn't know a lot of people, but I got around and started knowing a lot of people, so it was good for sure.
That's one thing. When I went to ninth grade, my father was a teacher and a coach and all those things. And first day of school in ninth grade, we went to school and he said, "I'm gonna give you one piece of advice and one only: be everybody's friend.
For sure.
Talk to everybody, treat everybody the same, be nice to everybody, and you can't go wrong."
Yeah, that's kind of what I did. I kind of got in there, starting baseball there too. I started baseball as soon as I got in.
Getting right away.
We started practices like my second day there. I started talking to a lot of the kids, getting friends, moving around, and I just started to fit in, and it feels good now. So
that was probably a real benefit to you to jump right into baseball, because sure. you had something that you had in common with guys that should have made it a little bit easier, I would think, right?
For
to transition.
Sure, yeah. It was good, just getting right into it and not waiting and staying low. So going there and getting right into something was very good, especially on the friends aspect, making friends, seeing them every day at practice. So it was good for sure.
That's cool. That is cool. So last year you experienced the gamut of education. So you started out in public school, transferred to a private school, a prestigious private school, right? Sure. And from a prestigious public school that has, especially from the sports perspective, a lot of history. What did you see as the biggest difference between the public and private education last year?
Oh, it was a big difference. Just stuff's way more harder, man. It's more in depth. Private school, they go way more in depth.
They go deeper.
They go a little deeper. But I mean, it's good for you. It's meant for prep you for college, so it's definitely going to benefit me. And I feel like I'll be fully prepared for college when I get there. So it was a big difference, but
okay. So what do you think? What is the most important thing that parents, relatives, grandparents? What's the most important thing that we can do to support young athletes, not only with sports, but also student athletes with your academics and all those things and all those pressures that we talked about a second ago?
Yeah, I mean, my parents always help me, keep my grades up. They're always on me a little to keep them up, but it's for the better. They're always supporting me academically, physically, mentally, just trying to make sure I can be the best version of myself, and I feel like it's a big factor. Just their support helps everything, so.
Okay, that's interesting. Just you have a great support system. Your pap and I have been friends for a very long time, and I know your grandparents are really involved with you guys. And thankfully, your dad got lucky and outkicked his coverage and found your mom. So I mean, we know that was a stroke of luck.
Yeah, for sure.
Serious. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
No, your dad's a good buddy of mine. He's one of the good guys out there.
For sure.
So. You've had a busy summer. You're doing the 7-on-7, and you're doing camps, elite QB camps, right? So we talked about pressure of being a student athlete at the high school level. So you're following in the footsteps of Joe Montana and Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Let's just make it a little bit harder. And then you're being coached over the summer by Peyton and Eli Manning, and you're going to all these QB camps. What's it like for you getting out there and competing against these national type kids?
It's good competition for me. Competing against them makes them better version of me. It just helps me get better. So I can learn from those kids that have 35 Division I offers and go and play college football. I mean, they teach me, and especially like the Manning camp, I get a lot of good coaching from college quarterbacks. There's a bunch of college quarterbacks that help me. So it's coaching, and it betters me.
Yeah, I saw you mentioned in your bio Bo Nix. He seems like a really a really fiery, competitive guy.
Oh God, yeah, he was one of the big ones there.
Yeah.
I worked with him a little. I worked with guys like last year at my Manning camp. I worked with guys like Joe Milton and Garrett Green and Will Rogers and like a bunch of the top quarterbacks. I mean, Joe Milton's in the NFL now.
Sure.
Bo Nix he's going to do great this year in the NFL. So I mean, getting coached from those guys really helped me.
Look at what an opportunity that is. I mean,
big opportunity for
that's
sure.
huge. So how do you I talked to Quentin Martin about that, the difference in level of competition here in the WPIAL and even in the state to these kids that are coming out of Florida and Texas and these big schools like that. Did you notice, look at the quarterback position? Did you feel a different level?
Yeah.
Or did you feel like you were right there with them?
I felt a different level, especially coming from, playing middle school ball with all the little kids, and then, being the top QB, and then you come to the WPIAL in class of 4A like Ringgold was that I played my freshman year. It's a big step.
Yeah.
But I just try to do my best and try to help the team out as best as I could. So.
And you really have a natural ability to lead. You're a soft-spoken guy. You're not. I don't see you're the guy running up and down the sidelines, jumping up and down. You really kind of lead by example. So what do you think? What would you say are the key kind of elements that make a really good leader, a strong leader?
Just be positive in what you're doing. Have confidence in the team. Try to build team morale up, get everyone in the right mindset, and it's just lead by example. Do what you feel like's best for the team. It will help it, and that's pretty much it. It's just
good stuff. Good stuff. Have you? And I know the answer to this, but I want to get your take on it. Have you been named captain of any team you've been on?
Yes, I was named captain for my 8th grade year, my middle school football team. Mm-hmm. Started quarterback there. I was named captain for switch over to baseball, Pittsburgh Premiere last year. Yeah, so I just tried to lead them and try to do what we could for the team to be better. And yeah, so those were the two main captain positions I got. So I was real honored for it.
If a coach tries to name a captain, it just never really works. Never works.
Yeah, that's why you have to, as a captain, you have to be trusted a lot.
Yeah.
So, the kids under you, they're going to look up to you if you're the captain, so they have to be able to have your trust and just look up to you and try to better themselves from you. So it's a big factor to it, too.
So you're getting a little bit of interest from colleges already?
Yeah, a little bit. I was invited down to West Liberty University. Actually, it was supposed to be today. Go down to a camp there, but we're going down to Orlando to train with a quarterback down there. But, yeah, West Liberty was a big one. Robert Morris University invited me down. West Virginia. Nebraska's been looking at me a little. The Naval Academy. So those are a couple big schools that have been looking at me.
Pretty good stuff. For a freshman, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are you looking at Central? What's Central look like? That's going to be a whole different level of football.
It's whole different, yeah. It's crazy.
That's big boy football.
It's a big step.
Yeah.
It's the best you can get in the WPIAL 6A football.
Yeah.
Going against big schools like North Allegheny, Pine Richland, Mount Lebanon, those big schools like that. It's a big step.
That's some serious competition. Sure. In the WPIAL in particular, the way it's set up, you get a lot of, there's a lot of chatter back and forth about the quality of competition at different levels. And I think. You look at Aliquippa, I think they kind of kiboshed that whole thing because, you have a small school like that is played up and won at every level that they play at.
They're a big factor house, man. That school's different.
They're
known for football. It's just what they do down there.
Yeah.
A couple kids from Central actually just went down to Aliquippa. They're going to play there this year.
Is that right?
Yeah. So Larry Moon and Senior Brooks, they both went down there to play. They were from Central, so they didn't play at Aliquippa, so see what happens. They're going to do good down there for sure. That's a big school down there.
Oh, yeah. So are you looking at any positions besides quarterback, or are you straight up QB?
Straight QB.
That's where you're going?
Yeah. He said, I'll give you the option. You can play quarterback, or you can play defense, too. I was like, I'll just stick over here. I don't want to play defense. I can't do that.
How you doing with the staff at Central?
Good for sure. I'm starting to get to know my coaches a lot. They're starting to trust me a little more. I'm getting into the system more, just trying to benefit myself.
You've been working out with the team?
For sure, yeah. We've had practice every day.
Okay.
So we lift, and then we go out and practice, and we watched film yesterday. So our head coach, actually, Ryan Laymeyer, he's the quarterback coach.
Okay.
Him, and then Coach Reese, yeah. So it's good down there, getting that trust in them, getting that bond with the coaching, and it just plays a big factor in what practice is like and everything like that.
Well, you have an opportunity, too, to come in there and to really learn the system, and because you know what, you're 15?
Yeah.
So, you're not even close to done growing. You're still a pup, so, you had a lot of time, and I'm really excited about watching the next couple of years as to how you mature, because you've developed so much just in the last couple of years. You've gone from here to here pretty quickly.
Yeah, 6th grade year, I was like 75 pounds. I was a small kid, and then I started to get on nutrition a little more, and I started to realize that plays a factor in football. It's a big difference, especially going to that varsity level, man. Those kids are massive up there. It's different. So I started gaining weight. I've been lifting more and more, and it's just I got to get a little bit bigger. But
you're going to be fine.
Time comes, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be good. Your parents are both tall. You have good genes. You're set up for that. But I want to talk about academics because, a lot, especially in southwestern Pennsylvania, in the WPIAL, I mean, we're all football all the time. And you know this from playing other sports. Even basketball and baseball, wrestling, soccer, they're like secondary sports. I mean, football's it.
Football's always up there.
I mean, so academically, what are your interests? And I was going to ask you, I have a note here to ask you if you have any hobbies outside of school, but I guarantee you don't. You don't have time to have hobbies.
I never do.
But, so what's your favorite class, for example? Let's go there.
Probably history. I'm real into history.
Okay.
My dad talks to me all the time about history. He tries to get me on top of it, so I really like history.
My dad was a history teacher.
Yeah, it's
I
a
grew up with
great
that.
subject. I love learning about it. I feel like I really get it in depth. I love learning about it, so it's real good.
When you get to the point where you're juggling a lot of offers from big schools, small schools, everything, will you make that choice? Do you think right now? Do you think you will make that choice based on the football team or the major you can go to the academics?
I feel like both plays a factor. I mean, if you're trying to get a good major and trying to get good academics, go to a school like that. Now, I'm obviously going to look to the football program, see what everything's like down there, the system, see where I can fit in at, but academics are playing a big factor in it. I mean, I've talked to a lot of recruiters, and I mean, all they talk about is what are your grades, what are you like at school, what's your attitude like
100%.
on and in the classroom. So it's a big factor.
And they'll talk to your teachers. They'll talk to your
sure.
teachers about what's your about attitude. Attitude's everything.
Big factor.
Attitude is everything. It's huge, and you can't lead if you don't have the right attitude. You have to have a positive attitude all the time. Can't get too high or too low.
No, if you don't have the right attitude, the team's going to be down. I mean, I experienced that at Ringgold a couple times this year. Being a quarterback as a freshman, like it's just team morale went down after we lose a game, and practice would be weak the next week. It was just
It's hard. It's hard to.
tough.
What are your top 5 priorities moving forward? So let's say moving forward the next couple of years, you're going to have a lot of changes in your life. All right. So not only physically and all those things, but you're going to be. I mean, just think 5 years from now, you're going to be so much far removed from where you're at right now. Have you thought about prioritizing?
Yeah, my coaches always at Central, they always try to harp on it. They say the 3 F's, you got faith, football, and family.
There you go.
So I kind of prioritize those 3, but baseball's up there too. Gotta prioritize that, but academics is definitely up there too.
So let's talk about faith for a minute. What role does faith play in, because you go to a private Catholic school, right? Sure. So what is faith to you as you go in your daily?
Really, going into that school every day, we pray before practice, after practice, every day as a team. So it definitely plays a factor in it, because I mean, it's what that school's known for, man. The Catholic school, it's getting closer to God as a team. It's just plays a big factor in it for sure. Just as a team, getting closer to Him. So it's great, for sure.
Good. So what is your biggest takeaway from this past year? What was the big lesson that you learned from your freshman year of high school?
Just keep going. It's gonna get better for sure. I mean, I had some down moments, playing quarterback there, and it's not a winning program right now, and it was down, and I'd always tell myself, just keep going. It's gonna get better. And then once this Central opportunity came up, it kept going up and got better. So I just try to tell myself, keep going no matter how down I am. And it's just...
Well, no, the kids you played with at Ringgold, you obviously grew up with those kids.
Yeah, sure.
Played, you go back a long way with them. Did they give you any grief leaving? Did they
a little
say,
bit,
well,
yeah.
you abandoned us?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, especially playing there this year and, being at a high level there, it's just... I got a little... people talking to me, but I mean, I had to do what's best for me. I can't let that distract me. No.
That's exactly right. You got to let people have their opinions.
Yeah.
Just, you know what?
Some opinions don't matter. That's kind
none of your business.
I kind of realized that, making the transition, I was like, yeah, I got to just do what's best for me and don't let people try to change my mind.
Right.
For sure.
100%. What people say or think is none of your business.
No, not at all.
You just keep moving forward and keep chopping wood. I keep saying that all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
It's that drives my buddy Bruce crazy. Will you stop saying that? It's embarrassing. What's your motivation? To don't you want to just kind of like kick back and play video games every once in a while, or just relax, or not chase girls, or
I see all the people that are, playing at that level, and they all preach on like, to get here you have to work. So I don't try to lay back as much as I can. I want to get there. So the motivation is just trying to get to that level. And I go to these camps and I see like my surroundings, like the university and everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be here one day. Like, this is for me. So after seeing that, like, I'll leave a camp and I'll be like, yeah, this is what I want. Like, and it just motivates me to keep going and trying to get there. So,
Mom and Dad hard on you about homework and stuff, keeping up on that in grades? Because I know education's important in your family.
Dad's not really. He's more the athletic side. My mom's more the mental, physical, get your grades up, that side. But they both play a factor in grades. They want to keep it up.
They complement each other with you and your sister and brother. And I want to talk about your siblings too, because your sister Sophie, she's a couple years younger than you, and she's at right now at a kind of an interesting age for girls. It's harder to be that age for girls than boys.
Sure, yeah.
And when we talked about pressure before being a student athlete, you have more pressure at home than you have anywhere in any stands in any stadium you're going to play in with Matty. Your little brother,
my
Matty.
little brother Matty.
Matty looks up to you. I mean, he really, really does. It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
But that's pressure.
Yeah, like, I'll be at home, I'll be doing drills, and he'll just come out and he'll want to do them with me. So I try to teach him and just better him for the future. And if he looks up to me, I'm happy that he does, because I'm gonna do what's best for him, for sure.
And it goes back to that leading by example, right? He's watching you, and you're going to go out and do your best. So he
learns.
Inspire him to do his best.
Yeah, I try to do that, especially with my sister too. I mean, I'll take her outside. We'll shoot basketball because she's starting to get into that more. She's starting to
play
get
little hoops.
So she's playing a big factor in it. So I'm trying to teach them both. Matty's a little young right now, but he's going to get into it. He's like, he always talks to me. I want to play quarterback.
Matty's a baller, man. I'm going to tell you. Matty, I mean,
he's a brute. He's something. He's
a baller. I mean, that boy has no fear. He just...
Not at all. Not at all.
And that's a benefit of being the youngest. Man, your dad and I talked a little bit earlier about the age difference between you and Matty. I think it's a really, really cool thing, because you have a chance to make one heck of a significant impact in that little dude's life, man.
Yeah, he's young, so I'm just trying to start him now, kind of, get him on the right path for his future. And just he's always telling me, he comes up to me after practice, Will, I want to go to Central. Will, I like Central. Will, I like this. I'm like, yeah, you'll get here, dude. Just wait, take time, and learn. That's what he does.
I'm friends with your Graham, and on social media, he drives her about half crazy.
Oh my, he's something.
He really is. So let's look. Closing thought. What does the next 2 years, 3 years, in a perfect world look like for you?
Just going to college, getting my degree, getting a master's, going to play my passion, going to play college football. So, I mean, if I accomplish all those goals, my life's pretty much where I want it.
So have you printed out Dan Marino's records and put them on the...
Not yet. I will, though.
Good for you, dude. Good for you. But listen, I'm really happy we finally got you to sit down here.
For sure.
You did great. This is really cool. I'm with you 1,000%, man. I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna see some games, and
sure.
I'm rooting for you, brother. I'm rooting for you.
I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.